Quilty is brought to you by Baby Lock Sewing and Long Arm Machines. Baby Lock, for the love of sewing. Aurifil. Aurifil Italian thread, perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Fairfield. Together, we can make beautiful things. Free Spirit. A new generation of creative and playful fabrics perfect for fashions, home decor, quilting, crafting, and more. Hovels Sewing. Cut it close with Hovels. Moda. Make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Thermoweb. Manufacturer of heat and bond adhesives and new luxe interfacings, proudly made in the USA. Hey everybody! Hi Ebony!
Hi Mary!
It's Ebony and Mary. You're watching Quilty, and I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so glad to be here.
Well, and we're going to talk about quilting today, and you are, I think, a master quilter. I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
You're masterful. You are.
Well, thank you.
And you make your quilts with your sewing machine, but when you quilt your quilts, you use a long arm, right?
Most of the time.
Okay. So in your long arming, you do not need a walking foot.
No, I have 1 foot.
You have 1 foot, and it's the long arming foot. But on a domestic machine, when you're quilting your quilt at home on your domestic, many times you will need a special foot, and it's called a walking foot. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Ebony, can you tell me what a walking foot is? I mean, it's this. This is the walking foot.
Yes, this is the walking foot.
Okay.
Well, essentially what you're trying to do with the walking foot is, because you have many layers of fabric and there's batting in there, you're trying to get the layers to feed at the same rate.
Evenly. Yeah.
And so what tends to happen is, if you're just quilting with the regular foot, the feed dogs on the bottom will be feeding the fabric at one rate, and then the batting will keep the top from moving, and then you get wrinkles and bubbles and it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So the walking foot takes care of that, and it makes both the top and the bottom feed at the same rate.
I'm going to put this walking foot on the machine right now. As you may or may not know, the walking foot, you need tools at your sewing machine. You don't get your machine at home and then just never mess with it again. You have to use sometimes stuff from the hardware store to help you use your machine, because there's all kinds of little parts and all kinds of little things. It's a power tool. And so I'm going to put this walking foot on, and I do go to the hardware store sometimes and get the tools that I need. Most machines, and certainly this machine, came with a screwdriver. But sometimes they're great, but sometimes I feel like I want a bigger handle, so I'll go and get...
I have monster hands, so those tiny little screwdrivers, it's like Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly. So always consult your manual, and they will tell you, they'll tell you exactly how to, to install your foot. Okay, so I'm getting the walking foot in. It's important to get it screwed in all the way and make it nice and tight. Ebony, what would happen if your foot fell off?
If the foot fell off, it would probably get in the way of the needle, and you'd, at minimum, break a needle.
Yeah, could be bad. Okay, so the walking foot's on. Will you talk to me a little bit about feed dogs, dropping them or not? I think this is an area of confusion.
Yeah, so when you're free motion quilting, you do not want the machine controlling the fabric at all.
With those feed dogs underneath.
Feed dogs. So if you're free motion quilting, you want to have the control, and so most of the time you'll drop the feed dogs when you're free motion quilting.
And you would free motion quilt with a stippling foot like this.
Yes.
One of the things you could do. So this is a different kind of foot, and you would drop those dogs. But with the walking foot.
With the walking foot, so if you're doing like straight line quilting, or you're trying to do stitch in the ditch, which is stitching in between the seams of your piece blocks, then you want the walking foot for that, because you're doing more precision stitching.
Right. Okay, so we have 2 different quilt sandwiches. This one is a patchwork quilt sandwich that I basted with machine.
I love this.
I do too. It's from one of our first episodes of Quilty. I like my points. I think they're pretty good. Those are tiny.
Yeah, those are really tiny.
Yeah, and we basted this with pins, because we're doing we're quilting this on the machine, so pins are good for that. But there's another kind of basting.
Yes. So, when you have especially when you have a small project like this, sometimes the pins can be more in the way than if you had a larger project. And so there's this really cool product that's out, which is a basting spray. It's a quilt basting spray. And you're basically using it as a temporary adhesive between your layers.
Right.
So this is a quilt sandwich, and it's got the backing a layer of batting, and then your top. And it can be pieced or not. We just
Sure,
have
right.
a piece top here.
Right.
So what you want to do is you take your backing and you smooth it out. And then you'll use the basting spray to adhere the batting to the back piece and smooth that out. And then you'll apply another layer of basting spray on the top of the batting and then smooth your quilt top over the top.
Right on. And so there's no pins needed whatsoever. If you have a huge project, like you said, it can be, that's a lot of basting spray. You also really want to make sure anytime you're using an aerosol like that you're in a well-ventilated place.
Absolutely well-ventilated.
And don't do it on your cutting mat. Don't do it on any of your fabric. Take it outside to the garage. Do it there. Or someplace that you have air and you have nothing that you're going to get sticky. Because it's very sticky.
Yeah.
Okay. But with the walking foot, I'm sitting here in the quilting chair, but I want to switch with you. Because I
Me
want
switch?
Yes, because you're the master quilter. So I'm going to have you quilt a little bit with this walking foot, and I just want to see it in action so people kind of see. And
okay.
Let's do. Yes, I think
We're just doing the
she can
walking
handle it. Yeah,
I can handle
just
the
a little walking foot. And because I want you to show about the thread. Will you show that?
Oh yes, absolutely. So when you're piecing, what you are normally doing, there we go. So there's all these little parts to the walking foot. And the one thing I forgot to mention is that the walking foot has feed dogs on the top. That's how it controls. That's how it controls the feed. Is that there's feed dogs in the integrated into the walking foot.
So you have feed dogs on the top and the bottom.
Yes.
Cool.
Now, when you start quilting, and this is something that I think we lose a lot of sight of, but when you're piecing, normally we're not pulling threads to the top. We're just kind of putting our piecing in and chain piecing.
Trimming later.
And trimming later. When you are actually quilting, what I always recommend for people is that they bring their bobbin thread to the top.
So you put your needle down, needle back up, and it's going to loop that bobbin thread up to the top.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, so we've got our bobbin thread to the top, and I want you to hang on to those thread tails because you don't want the thread getting dragged underneath the quilt and making a little thread nest there.
Right, and I've had that happen. Most people will have that happen. Eventually, you get out of the habit.
Yeah. So all you're just doing here is you're creating a design, and you can go as fast or slow as you want, but essentially this is really great for straight line stitching. So I can go to a certain point and stitch. And can you see how it's not pushing?
Yep.
The fabric isn't getting pushed ahead of itself. It's kind of feeding nice and evenly, and I can let go of those thread tails now.
You're far enough away from them. That's good.
Yeah, and what's also really awesome about having a walking foot is you can use the edge of the walking foot also as a guide to help you with line spacing.
And what Ebony's showing here too is that she's got her machine in the needle down position. So when she's on a pivot, when she moves to another line, the needle keeps her in place. She's pivoting on the needle. Ebony, that is great.
Fabulous.
Thank you so much. See
You're welcome.
how good she is. Well, thank you for helping us understand the walking foot. Your machine may not come with one, so you usually have to buy it separate, typically. But get one, and that's another good reason. This is the parting advice. Get a machine at a dealer. Don't go to, we love Target, don't go to Target and buy a machine. Don't, because there's no support for you. You can't bring a question to the Target people and ask them how to do something on your machine. So go to a dealer like Baby Lock. Baby Lock, Baby Lock, the walking foot.
Baby Lock.
See you next time on Quilty.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Quilty is brought to you by Baby Lock Sewing and Long Arm Machines. Baby Lock, for the love of sewing. Aurifil Italian thread, perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Fairfield, together we can make beautiful things. Free Spirit, a new generation of creative and playful fabrics perfect for fashions, home decor, quilting, crafting, and more. Hovels Sewing, cut it close with Hovels. Moda, make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Thermoweb, manufacturer of heat and bond adhesives and new luxe interfacings, proudly made in the USA.